Welcome back to our 3 mistake series. It's where I point out 3 mistakes that I commonly see in multiplayer, though it might also help you in campaign. These are 3 things that I have seen, and it really bothers me when I see them, so hopefully we can convince you to stop doing it. And the first one is, especially when you take Festus, because he has crazy low Winds of Magic regeneration, but when you take any Nurgle caster on the Warriors of Chaos, I hate seeing this combination. Now, there are 2 mistakes in one here, but I'll only count it as one for the video. It is taking the Children of Nurgle passive, or any lore passive on any lore of magic, when you only took the most expensive spells. You will get 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 uses of Children of Nurgle all game, and paying 100, 150, 200 gold, or whatever, depending on what you're trying to do, just to get 0.8% health per second for 4 seconds, yes, I times that by 4, for your whole army, is pretty whatever. We can see it went by. These guys got about 40 health. So do you really want to pay 100 gold to give everybody you have 160 health over the course of the game? Not really. So if you're taking just the expensive spells like Grants of Visitation and Fleshy Abundance, you should cut Children of Nurgle. Or whatever your lore passive is. On the other side, the other mistake is taking 2 expensive spells at all. Because with Festus the Leech Lord's crazy low Winds of Magic regeneration, we've already gone 3.5 minutes into this game. I have cast 1 Fleshy Abundance on the Chaos Giant who took a bunch of damage. I am waiting, I am waiting, I am waiting, I am waiting. I cast another Fleshy Abundance on him, and I am waiting. So I've cast those 2 spells, and that's fine. I'm not complaining about Fleshy Abundance, but I haven't used any Rancid Visitations, and I know I'm out of Winds of Magic as I was running this. Now I'm waiting for more Winds of Magic to cast a Rancid Visitations Overcast and a Spellweaver of Beasts. Oh wow, we're waiting for a long time. Huh, it's almost like taking 2 expensive spells without Arcane Conduit, because Festus literally doesn't have it. Makes you take forever to do your Winds of Magic. Now, I know he's going to get shot, but that's not the point of the demonstration. I don't care about it. But I throw down 1 Rancid Visitations. If I had bothered to do 2 overcasted Rancid Visitations, because that was 1 overcast, I could have killed the enemy Lord. Or if I had focused on just healing stuff, I could have healed my Giants, and assuming I don't just have Marauders, assuming I have Rot Knights or whatever, like, do I pour all my healing into the Giant? Do I give some to the Rot Knights? Do I give some to the Plague Drones or whatever you're dealing with? I suppose this is Warriors of Chaos, not Nurgle, but you get my point. You have to spread the healing out. Or do you snipe the enemy Lord with Rancid Visitations? Well, you don't have enough Winds of Magic to do both, so stop trying to do both. Just grab one and do that. You have to commit to a strategy with those expensive spells, so please avoid doing that. The second mistake I see for the Warriors of Chaos is a pretty simple one. It applies to a lot of skirmish cavalry, but since skirmish cavalry in the Marauder Horsemen are so crucial for the Warriors of Chaos, I thought I'd point out here. When you are being attacked by dogs, you need to charge them. You cannot run away from dogs. Your Marauder Horsemen will do really good impact damage and get a lot of damage out. Meanwhile, these other Marauder Horsemen are going to try and run away. Dogs are faster than them, and a lot of people's dogs are going to apply poison. Most of the time that someone is taking a dog, they're going to bring the poison variant, because for 50 gold it is amazing. Now, you will lose a prolonged trade. If you have Marauder Horse Masters, you can sometimes shock the dogs into leaving. You see these ones get to 2 leadership. Meanwhile, in the distance, these dogs are just omnomming for free as I run away, and I am occasionally throwing at them, but the skirmish value isn't that high. We can see my Marauder Horsemen have already routed over here. That dog has barely taken maybe a quarter of its HP, while these guys routed around the same time, and that dog has taken over half. We can see the values right here. 260 value on this one, 94 on the other. It is way more worth it if you get caught out by dogs to just charge them and try and maybe knock them out of the fight, especially if you have multiple skirmish cav near each other. One can loop around and hit him in the back, because even if it's 2v2, if you rear charge one of the dogs, that'll rout it, and then you can 2v1 the other one. That's generally better than trying to run away. Especially if you have just skirmish mode on, your guy's going to do it automatically. You just can't outrun the dogs. They are going to hunt you down, and you're not going to get any value back. So if you get caught, just turn and fight. We'll have another 2 for 1, so I guess this video should have been titled 5 mistakes you're making with Warriors of Chaos, but the 2 spell ones were a little interlinked, and I'll go with these. This skirmish cap one is also a little interlinked, and one of them's obvious, so yeah. I see a lot of people get lazy with their micro. They put all their skirmish cav in one group, and then they group them up like this, and they end up in the same place. 2 problems with this. 1, you're obstructing yourself. Some of these Marauder Horsemen will get obstructed by the other units and not throw, so you won't be throwing as quickly. That is pretty hard to show, but just trust me, A lot of your guys aren't throwing when you do this sort of thing. An easy way you could see it is like grab Durthu or something and have all your people piled on top of each other. You won't throw nearly as fast. The other thing is when you're clumped like this, when you're running away from a predator, like the Wild Hunters of Kurnos, your school of fish are all fleeing in the same direction. So this Wild Hunter of Kurnos is putting pressure on all 3 of your skirmish cavalry at the same time. Its shields are facing forward against all of your skirmish cavalry. So all of your skirmish cav is dealing, what is that, 70% less damage? 55% less damage to the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. None of them are getting rear shots on it, and all of them, like we said, are getting harassed. Now ×3 speed through this chase, as we can see, we're getting poked, getting poked, we're getting poked, we're getting poked. Wild Hunters of Kurnos keep harassing us, pushes towards the edge of the map. And by the time I finally get rid of these guys, let's see, when do they route? Well, close enough. They've gotten about 1,000 value, right? Roughly 1,000. All my skirmish cav took about half their HP. Not great, not ideal. What is better for the Warriors of Chaos, and this is the two-parter I mentioned, what is better for the Warriors of Chaos is to stay separated. Obviously, you won't be obstructing each other as much, but also it gives you tactical options like this. This guy, unfortunately, Orion is going to be shooting at me, shooting at my butt. So I'm going to take some damage from Orion, but we'll focus on the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. So now these 2 Marauder Horsemen, since we're separated, whichever one the Wild Hunters are chasing runs away while these 2 get free shots on their back, and then those silver shields aren't helping as much. And the second piece of advice is, with the Warriors of Chaos, all of your skirmish cavalry is hybrid, and you need to remember to use them as such. Now, there are examples where I see people run up to archers and start throwing spears at them. You need to get into melee with those archers, but we can even see here, it's not just pathetic, helpless units you can get good charges on. Marauder Horsemasters have pretty decent stats, especially charge bonus. So against things like the Wild Hunters of Kurnos here, as we're running away, I can just chase them and try and go in for a rear charge. So as we're running up to these guys, we're hitting them in the back, but their silver shields aren't helping. And now this Wild Hunter of Kurnos is in a bad situation because it's going to get sandwiched in no matter what. Because if it stops chasing these Marauder Horsemasters and tries to turn around, it won't have the time to get a charge in, and I can rear charge it from the other side. And all the while it's not fighting me, it is just getting poked in the back. And then here we finally get into the melee and we start tearing these guys down. These guys are just getting throwing orders, but for some reason they go straight up into melee, so I back them off for a second. But let's fast forward quick until you route. There we go. And what's your value? 700. So about 70% less effective. Remember, some of this damage was from Orion shooting at me at the start of the game, so not entirely genuine. But still, I mean, even on the Wild Hunters, you could see that they got less value, and we dealt with them a little quicker. So 2 things to remember is, 1, always keep your skirmish cav not blobbed up so they have better lines of sight and more options to deal with pursuers. And follow up, remember that all of your Warriors of Chaos skirmish cav are hybrid. So if you're dealing with those dogs that are chasing you, if you can get a charge on them, then that's worth it for the impact damage. If you let them catch up to you and then you try and turn and fight, it'll be pretty limp, but it's still better than trying to run away. Or if you're being pursued by things like the Wild Hunters of Kurnos or other light cavalry or dogs and stuff that are trying to peel, remember you can sandwich them in and use your Marauder Horsemasters or Horsemen as light cav, since they do have pretty good stats for skirmishers. All right, take care.
Subscribe, yes.